Welcome to Like Minded with Dr. Patrice. Each episode, we'll sit down with different types of experts and unpack the role of mental health in our day-to-day lives. Scientist and decluttering expert Shaniece Jones joins us today to unpack the unexpected intersection of science and style. From her background in biology to becoming a professional organizer, Shaniece has discovered how our closets and clothing can reflect our emotional states, personal histories, and healing journeys. Together, we explore how her research-driven approach bridges fashion, psychology, and wellness, and what it means to truly show up in the world through what we wear and how we live within our space. Shaniece Jones is the founder of Closet Therapy. With a Bachelor of Science in Biology from St. John's University, Shaniece brings a research-driven approach to the intersection of mental wellness, spatial design, and personal transformation. Her work uses home organization as a therapeutic tool to confront both physical and emotional clutter, turning overlooked spaces, such as closets, into pathways for healing and self-discovery. Shaniece's innovative perspective has been featured on The Jennifer Hudson Show and recognized by the New York Times, Architectural Digest, and InStyle. She is also the creator of Social Brunch Club, a newsletter and platform designed to foster open conversations, build community, and share tools for wellness and connection. Welcome, Shaniece.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. Shaniece, you've had the opportunity to work with several A-list celebrities, and you've been able to blend fashion with a deep understanding of personal transformation.
Yes.
Can you take us back to how your journey began and how your background in science, and I'm going to get to all of that, helped shape the unique space that you've created?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Take us back.
I'm like, do you want to go way
Yes, let's go back. We got time.
You want to go?
No, settle in.
My background, I'm Jamaican and Cape Verdean, so I come from a West Indian background, and I've always loved fashion, believe it or not.
I can see it. No, I believe it.
But my mom was like, you're so smart. Like, fashion's not a real career. And so believe it or not, now it is, Mom. She's in heaven. I went to school to study science because I was like, okay, I got to become a doctor. I got to become something that, and I think it's more of a protection from like our parents. Like, I think so. I want to make sure you have money and I want to make sure you can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And so
you have stability and security. It's like what they want for you.
Yeah. Cause it's like, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here forever. You got to take care.
Dreams can probably feel like a luxury and not, and you focus on what is going to be stable. So,
yes. That's what it was. Like, oh, you like that? That's cute.
That's cute.
But you're going to go to school for this.
You can do that on the weekends.
And I'm kind of happy that was the case for me, because I never knew how science was going to fit into my love of fashion. And like, it honestly probably wasn't until like 3 years ago when I was sitting in Brooklyn where I was like, oh, really? It all makes sense. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And so like, even from a kid, like I tried to apply for fashion schools, not happening. From high school into college, my mom was like, no.
Okay, so tell me about that. So you were wanting to do this thing, and it wasn't happening because your parents like vetoed it, your mom vetoed it?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I was like, there's a tech school, like there's a fashion design, program. I can go in there in high school. And she was like, no, you're too smart. And I got into a magnet school. So it was like, okay, you're going over here, your education. Like it's always education first for my family. And you kick your feet. It's like, fine, well, I'm just going to dress how I want. I'm going to bring fashion to wherever I go.
That's how you rebelled.
Exactly. And so that's kind of like how the journey started pretty much. And I've always loved fashion. So I've found ways to incorporate it. High school, I worked 3 jobs and at the mall, like I was going from one place to the next, like, and then college, same
I did that
thing.
Too.
Like
at the mall, all your jobs.
Yes, and you know how sometimes they say like your purpose comes from like some sort of pain. Like growing up, like going to school, beginning of the school year shopping, it was like you getting that 2 for $59.99 from Kids Foot Locker. Like you're not getting no extra shoes. And I used to get picked on like, oh, your shoes don't match, like from some of my closest friends, and I would just like brush it off, like whatever, like in. Keep all that inside. And I'm sure, like, as a therapist, you're probably like, girl, have you dealt with that?
We can get to that again. We have time. But wait, I want to know where you worked at the mall.
Okay, so I worked because, believe it or not, because I used to get picked on my shoes, my first job It was at FYE.
Okay.
And then I found that they were hiring at Kids Foot Locker. So I went upstairs. I probably harassed that man. I promise you, I got on the bus every day after school and went up there and like, give me a job. His name was Dwayne. Dwayne, give me a job.
Where'd you grow up?
Bridgeport, Connecticut. Okay. And so he finally gave me a job. So it was there. So I was at FYE, Kids Foot Locker. Then I worked at Children's Place. And then I got a job at Coach.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, you had good places.
Yes.
I was at Lady Foot Locker and Lerner, New York. Can you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. So I was wearing like, the blazers.
Yes,
like the cute little...
and had the sneakers and the kicks. I used to love our 50% off discounts.
Yes. But the people who had it made, my girlfriends who had it made, they worked at Wilson's. They could get the leather.
The leather.
Yes.
No one knows. I don't know if everybody listening remembers Wilson's, but
I'm sure some of them
remember that 2 for $199. You get 2 jackets for the
saving up for so long.
That was my first leather jacket.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Me too. And I made it. I knew I made it. Okay, all right. We digress.
Yes, we do, but for good reason.
Yes.
And so from there, it's just like when I went off to college, again, I was like, I'm gonna go to school for fashion and all the things. Nope, that got vetoed again. And so I was like, you know what? Like, what will make money? I get it. Like, I'm getting older. I want to make money. I want to be wealthy, all these things. And so I was a pre-med student at St. John's University. And that's literally how, like, my journey, I always say it's my unlikely journey, was in the lab dissecting frogs and sheep brains and all of the things. And I think for me, I studied biology also, not just because of my mother, but like growing up, science, I used to be like, I don't like science. It was a challenge for me. And so for me, it was like, I'm going to challenge myself to prove, because the moment I got in there, like our advisors and like you were here on campus, people would be like, oh, these are the classes that make or break students who will go into pre-med. It was organic chemistry, Orgo 1 and 2, which I would have been like, no, thank you. I ended up loving, right? It was organic chemistry 1 and 2, and then it was physics. And for me, don't tell me I can't do something, because I'm going to show you.
But I think that's so interesting, because you were already doing something that's like, it wasn't exactly what you wanted to do. And you could have chosen to like, let me take the easiest things. Let me just like do this because I'm being forced to be here. But you chose a totally different direction.
Yeah.
You chose to really challenge yourself. Well, if I'm here, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be in like the hardest classes. I just think it's such an interesting decision that you made there. And I wonder if you knew that at the time, or if like it's only on reflection that
I think it's on reflection. Because like at the time I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to, but also because my parents, I don't come from money, my mom took out a student loan the first year. Okay. The years after that was on me. I was like, I'm not wasting $40,000 a year. I'm not wasting my money at this point.
That's so interesting.
I have to make sure I'm getting the grades, like all of the things. So not knowing that it was for my good, right? Like in hindsight, I'm like, all right, Mom, I see what you was doing.
You knew what you were doing.
Like, all right, cool. Like I got it. But that's when I started studying, and believe it or not, organic chemistry was like one of my favorite subjects, like because it made sense. Like to me, that is the course that made sense the most out of all the sciences to
me. Tell me, what was it? What was it that connected with you?
I think it was the math. So again, like I like numbers. I like because math is figure outable. I think that's not even a word, but, I made it up. Like it's figure outable. And so for me, I was like, oh, move this electron over here. This is what makes the compound. Like everything just started making sense to me in my head. And then it's like, okay, I know what the shapes are. I was just like, and also, don't tell me this is going to make or break me, because I'm going to make sure I pass. And I also had like a good group of friends that we were studying together. And there was one guy that was in my class, and he would not study. He was a soccer player, and he would just get A's. And so like he would do this thing, like flipped his pen like a certain way. And like I was like, is that what makes you get A's? Let me figure this out. Like, but I'm gonna beat you before.
Oh, really?
Like,
I thought you were gonna say that he was like cheating or something.
No, like he would like it was just a thing that he would do, but he didn't study because he studied like maybe the night before, but he was super smart, and I admired that. And I was like, I'm going to beat him on the exam. That was my goal before we graduated from like with our degree. And I did get him on one exam.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. But like, that was the motivation really behind like the science. And I started to enjoy it more. And then I was just like, in my head, I never thought I was going to use it.
Yes. Well, and once you started enjoying it, then where did you think it was going to lead you?
I still had this idea about fashion.
Okay.
Because me and my roommate Maria, she's actually a eye doctor now. And we were sitting and we would cry after every test, not even knowing if we passed or not. We just like, oh my God, I failed, and I'm never going to
crying after every test?
Literally crying after every single test. We go back to our dorm room and we're like, we failed. We're never going to get into school. All of the things. And it was even in that moment, like with us like studying together, I think for me, I was like, okay, if I go to optometry school, then I can make fashionable glasses. And like,
you know what?
I was connecting the dots, and I was like, and then after here, maybe I can take some classes at FIT, which I eventually ended up doing after I graduated. So like, went back to FIT and got like a image consulting degree just to understand fashion. Started working in like the journey, just kind of like the pieces just all started coming together.
And I think that probably now, like thinking about it and looking back, you can really see like what good training it was that you weren't able to go. Really, you had to find a way to bring it into your life.
Yes.
You know, it's not that it was your everyday because you're sitting like in fashion school and that kind of thing. You're like, I'm going to keep this in my life. And like, you almost have to be probably like more intentional about it all that time. Yeah. What good training.
Yeah. You know,
Thanks,
like that's
Mom.
why I'm like, Mom,
Thanks,
thank
Mom.
you. All right, you know when parents like listen to me and then you don't want to listen, and then
in the moment
get
you're like,
older and you're like, okay, you was right.
Totally. It's so funny you say that because I think that I kind of look at my journey similarly in that my parents like go to business school. You always have a job, and I was like, no, I think I want to be like a psychologist or psychiatrist. But it's like, no, you're not just going to sit around listening to people's problems all day. That's not a career. Like, because we didn't see that as a career. You know, like, I didn't grow up with anyone who went to therapy or anything like that.
No.
Like, no, first of all, you don't tell people your business. Second of all, you don't pay to tell someone. Like,
Period.
We're not doing that. Yeah. So like, go to business school. And, you know, someone was asking me about this recently. And I do feel like I would not have traded any of that because the family, the friends that I have, like, you know, my husband, all these things are because I followed that business path. And then I pivoted. And so I can so relate to what you're saying.
That's
like I wouldn't.
actually interesting.
Yeah, but it was because my parents were like, no.
That's cute.
I don't even think they thought it was cute. They're just like, we don't do that.
Yeah. And that's, you know, it's so funny you saying that, like how uncommon like mental health was like in African American families, like in general.
Yeah,
like,
maybe you talk to your pastor. That's it. That's it.
Honestly, go pray about it.
Totally. Or keep it to yourself and just like figure it out. Yes.
That for me, that literally was my journey before I actually, again, was like, I'm not listening to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to therapy because
that's so okay. I want to talk about that. By the way, I don't want to cut off your journey because I'm like, this is so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're through school.
Yes.
Okay. And so you're figuring out, okay, well, if I go into optometry school, I can do this or I can do that. And then what happened?
I got it. Well, you know, that whole big old dream. Oh, go to college. You get a job right out of college. That is not true. First of all, I want to tell everybody that's a lie. I actually happened to get a job. My first job was working I did an international media company, and then I found a job at a hedge fund.
Okay.
And it was at the hedge fund where I started to learn about money. Like everything just made sense for
That's so
where I'm
interesting.
at now.
It's such a, like, to be pre-med and then to go to a hedge fund. All right.
And so many people at the hedge fund, their degrees never lined up to what they were doing. Some of the people that sat at the trade table, like at the trading table, they were not
finance majors.
No.
Like, oh, interesting.
So it's just like, if you learn it and you take the exams, like, it's a game. It's like also just having the knowledge of what you're doing. But like, of course, the higher ups were, you know, degreed and those things. But it was there that I started branching out into fashion. And so I met, like, there was myself, there was another Black woman, and then we had probably about 3 or 4 more women, but like one woman that was a higher up. She was our chief compliance officer. Okay. And she was very fashionable. Ooh. Like we would just talk. Like I love, like to this day, we still stay in contact with each other. I love her. And she was, we were just talking about seeing her in the hall. Oh my God, I love your jacket. What's that? Like, you know, just talking fashion, like just all the things. And I remember she was cleaning out her closet and she said, oh, I have this jacket. Like, do you want some? I said, whatever you're giving, I'm taking, you know. And it was the first time I ever got my first Gucci blazer was from her.
That's amazing.
Like, I was just like, are you really just giving this to me? I was confused. That doesn't happen. Like, this is expensive. Are you really just giving it to me? And so from there, she was just like, yeah, if you want to shop for me, like, let me. So it was like, I started kind of building, like while I was sitting in something that I didn't know where it was going to go. At first, I was like, I guess I'll take the Series 7. Maybe I can move up here because hedge funds pay well, you know? Right, so like, and I can live this life that, you know, is fashionable, whatever. But she was like, you can start shopping for me. Then one of the girls there, she advised that I apply for Miss Connecticut. She sent me this thing called the School of Style, which was like a program like to become a stylist. And then I went back to FIT. So I had the money to go back to school and like get my degree and like image consulting and start working backstage New York fashion. Everything just started to happen in this like quickly like rotating thing. And then I got an internship it was my first internship. I didn't know who it was for. I went to the city. I took a half a day, and it ended up being for Kanye. Wow. And so I was on his team for 4 years. I started off as an intern, and then got taken on as like, oh my gosh, like you could work for us. I love doing like market and like doing all this, like searching the runway. So like my road into fashion eventually happened.
Yes.
And just not the
way that,
the way I wanted it to.
But such an interesting way. And I want to ask you a question about what you were saying about when you're working and there was just a few women, and that person who was, the most senior at that organization, that she was very fashionable. Was there ever any like conversations that you had or any thoughts you had about when people choose to be authentic by like sharing their fashion in male dominated spaces, especially? Because I'm just thinking about, how often women either feel or are told that you kind of need to like be one of the boys. You know what I mean? Like to, I just think of like all the women I've seen in like just really tragic skirt suits and stuff over the years, just trying to like, it's like, and I understand. I know this is not in people's imaginations that you want to be taken seriously. Yes. And sometimes that means not standing out. So what was your thought about that, and what were your conversations with her about that?
I think for me, like we never really talked about like how it was operating in the male dominated space. And a lot of people ask me that because, they'll be like, oh, you work for a hedge fund?
Yeah,
like,
you think hedge funds
like the boys club. And I was like, I don't know if it was God or like I was just there. But the owner of my hedge fund, my first interview with him, he had on a pair of New Balance sneakers, a plaid top, and he was on the phone call when I first came in, and he was like, oh, I was just gonna hire you based off your resume. And in my head, I'm like, all I got is my science degree on here. Okay, like I didn't know what it was. And that moment right there, I was like, oh, it's not so like uppity and tight.
That's
and
so
like he was very like down to earth, like chill. And like to see her, like, and when it came down to her, she sometimes would dress up, but not like skirt. That wasn't her thing. It was like jeans and some cool sneakers.
But and fashionable,
very fashionable. And so for me, like what I realized about her is that she knew her stuff. So like you can challenge the way she may look, but she knew what she was talking about. She was sitting in the boardroom with all the men and not being afraid to speak up. And so I learned a lot of that from her, because even she would tell me like, she was like, no, like when I was leaving, from the hedge fund, she was like, no, you did this. You did. Like she allowed me to see myself in a different light. And like, that's why I'm forever, like I always check in on her. How are you doing? Like what's going on? When I'm in South Carolina, I go to, visit her. So it was really nice to see a woman in position, and not even in regards to like color. Like, sometimes that goes into play where it's like, oh, is she black or is she white? It's like, to me, I was like, it doesn't even matter. She was a woman that was standing in a position that was like, I know my shit, and I'm not, excuse me.
It's going to be okay.
Sorry.
You can definitely.
Stuff. I'm like, sorry.
No.
I know my stuff, and I'm going to stand in it. And that was the first time I seen the confidence like that. And that was admirable to me because I was insecure.
It's so interesting that that was what you got, because you're right. You get like a picture in your head of what that must have been like. And then when I see someone, who's bringing their whole self and modeling that for other people, and it's not like you are fashionable at the expense of knowing yourself. Like you can do both, know, and seeing someone do both like, confidently, but it not becoming a big thing feels, just like such an amazing like blessing to have, So.
And it like taught me to just kind of calm down, because I remember at the time, like to, not worry about, oh my God, I got to look the part and I got to dress like this. Being around them at the office in that time, I was just like, oh, I can dress like this. I can actually tap into like my style and fashion and not feel like I have to look a certain way or play a certain role. Like that gave me the freedom, I would say, to like just be myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so then tell me about leaving the hedge fund and then going to fashion school.
So I was doing it while I was at the hedge fund. I don't know what it is. Maybe I have high functioning anxiety. I got to do so much stuff. I don't know. In hindsight.
We can talk about that.
Look, I'm like, maybe in hindsight, I had like.
As a therapist, I'm settling in. All right, we'll talk about that.
I was like, okay, so while I'm working at the hedge fund, I'm like, okay, all my sick time, all my days off, like all this stuff, I'm going to use this time to go pursue what I really want to do. And so that's when I started going to FIT in the evenings. I was taking classes. I would use all my sick time to go on set and just do different things like to pursue what I wanted to. Cause I was like, I rarely get sick. I'm not waiting to get a payout from this. Like, I'm just going to go use my time and do this. And so that's how like I started like evolving into that fashion space. And, allowing the money that I was making to pay for a dream that I had.
Yes. And how did you know what were the signs that you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this full time? Like, I'm ready to take this on.
It wasn't a sign. I think the Lord gave me a sign because they had to reduce the size of the company and I was a layoff. Like my direct boss was the first one to go. And then I was like, oh no, that's sad. And then 2 days later, it was me. And I remember at the time, I was like interning for this lady, Shaniece, and she's like a big sister to me now, but she's the one that really opened the door into fashion, like really believed and seen me. And like, she's the reason why I have a closet business, like all of the things. And I literally was on the phone with her driving into the office and I was like, man, I wish I could just get fired and come work for you like full time. I promise you not. Probably within the last maybe like next 2 hours, they called me in the room. It's like, this is not personal. We're just downsizing. Wow. We're going to give you a nice package, like a severance package, like so you can go really go do what you do. Like they showed up for my Miss Connecticut pageant, like the people in the office. So like they knew that my heart was really in fashion. And so like, even though they had to lay me off, it was a setup for like the real deal. So I ended up calling Shun back and I'm like, Shun, I just got laid off. She said, shut up. I said, no, this is real. She's like, okay, well, go cry and then call me back. We'll figure out what to do next. Yeah. And from there, when I left there is when I started going to Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it is funny, right? Like, because sometimes if you're in a position and it's comfortable, you may not have taken that step yourself, or you know, like that you might have waited a little bit longer because it's like, well, this is good. I like it. You know, the people I work with are good. I'm learning things. The money's good. And so, you know, I wonder what would have happened if that hadn't taken place. I would have
Series 7 and probably working at another hedge fund.
And in that way, even like becoming more engrossed and more involved in it, like not, you know, giving yourself like some independence from it. It's so interesting. Okay, so let's talk about your closet business because you had all that experience. And how do you use your science brain and like understanding patterns and your background and all of that? How does that come into your closet organization?
Oh gosh, so from the realization of the tying in of the science happened. My sister passed away suddenly, and my brother was murdered 2 years prior to that. So I dealt with a lot of like grief. So like. And I'm someone who doesn't like to show much emotion on the outside. I like to hold a lot of stuff in. And it felt like my world was like spiraling out of control on the outside, right? I didn't know like, oh my God, like, is this gonna happen? That's when my anxiety and my panic attacks, all of the things started picking up high for me. And I would end up just staying in the house. If I didn't have to drive somewhere, because I would have panic attacks driving from one exit to the next, I was like, I'm gonna stay in the house. And it was when I was in my closet, because I felt everything was out of control, like around me, I knew that was a space that I can control.
Wow.
I knew that was a space like, I'm just going to organize because it would take my mind off of doing stuff.
Yes.
Like, I'm just going to organize my closet. The same way I would organize my Trapper Keeper as a kid. Like,
oh, Trapper Keepers.
No, that's crazy. Aging myself.
It's okay. It's okay. And what were the stickers? Lisa
Frank.
Yes, Lisa Frank. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, anyway. Okay. All right. Yes.
But yes, so like that, it was in those moments when I was like, you know, I just would be organizing my closet or organizing some part of the house. And believe it or not, as a kid, I would get in trouble for that. Like if I was on punishment, I could not, sitting still in the house, I would start organizing the house or like throwing stuff out behind my mom's back, like, and get in trouble for it later on when she looked for it.
But you're already in trouble. You're getting more trouble.
I'm like, whatever, another day.
Yes.
Okay. But that's how it all started. And then as I started doing more of it for myself, I'm like, there's something here. Like, why do I feel better? I'm like asking myself the questions. I'm writing down like what it feels like. I'm uncovering like ex-boyfriend's pictures in my closet, just seeing the shift in my body, like how things started happening. Like when I would see certain things, I'm like, there's something here.
Okay, so I think that the really interesting thing you're saying that I'm curious about there is you initially were using that to avoid like the hard feelings and the grieving and everything that you're going through. And again, you know, you instead of just burying yourself in that, you chose to like reflect on it.
Yes.
It's a decision, you know. I just want to let you know, like, you know, I see that you could have gone about that a different way, and you could have just been like, I'm going to just keep busy.
Yeah.
And to keep my mind off of it. But instead you chose to like, what's going on with me? Like, why is this helping me? Like, could this help other people? And I just think it's like so important to point that out, you know, that in the midst of everything you're going with, like you still like found a way to kind of go within.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
Thank you. I think it's because as a kid, I'm very, I get told that, oh, it's because you're nosy. I'm very inquisitive.
You're curious.
I'm very curious.
Yes.
I'm always asking questions.
Yes.
So, like the kid in school when it's like, oh, we're going to get out of class early.
Oh no.
That was me.
Oh, I don't know if we would have been friends. I'm like, come
on.
on.
Like, we're trying to leave. I'm like, but I have a question like, why is Bob? And I would ask questions like, who said the sky is blue? Who said that was blue? Who said blue was blue? Like, I was that person, like, where it'd be like, goodness. Oh my gosh, Shaniece, like, come on. But I'm very, for me, I'm like, why?
Yeah,
but
you
why?
Understand.
Like, I want to know why. And if I can't figure out why, then there has to be some kind of reason that I'm looking for. Yes. And so I think that's just a natural thing. Like, even to this day, I'm always like, how can I better improve? Okay, so I messed up there, but like, is there something else I can do better? How can I just become better, even at friendships and relationships? Like, I'm always wanting to improve better because I don't think it's okay just to be like, oh, this is just the way I am. Not really. Yeah. Like, you can be better if someone is giving you some sort of feedback.
Yes, if someone's giving you like feedback, trust that you
that's trust. Exactly. Yes. Not everybody's feedback.
Yes, not everyone's.
Because I have been there too.
It's so true. You have to be discerning. I know we all have.
Yes.
Okay, so you were discovering like what about yourself and what about your emotional healing as you're going through your closet, as you're organizing, and then reflecting back on how you used to do that as a kid also.
Yes.
What was coming up for you?
For me, it was more like when I seen like pictures of ex-boyfriends, right? Or stuff that they bought me.
Yes.
Mind you, on the other side, in my closet, I'm praying like, Lord, please send me a relationship. Lord, please. Like, but in the back of my closet were these photos.
Oh,
so for me, making the connection, I was like, how are you asking God to send you something, but you still fill in the space with this? And every time you go in there, you're having those feelings of like, oh, I remember when, and you're reminiscing. And I was like, man, burn these photos. Let me get these things out of here.
Did you actually burn them?
I ripped them up.
Yes. Okay.
Into small pieces, like the moments. And like just like recognizing those patterns, even stuff like I remember working at a hedge fund. Like when I was there, I was like, I gotta fit in. Yes. So what my mother told me not to do, I did the opposite. Don't get no credit cards. My credit's good. Approved. I went the biggest shopping spree ever and probably was still paying them off until 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
Y'all.
Can we just take a side note? I was trying to explain to my 9-year-old about like financial responsibility. And I was like, oh yeah, in college, like they just give anyone a credit card. And he's like, oh, like what's wrong with that? I'm like, we didn't have any money. Like, so why did we have these credit cards? And, I could not tell you what I spent it on. I think I was at Express every week, like, getting clothes for like, to go out. Like, it's not, it's funny that you say that because it does come from like, okay, well, if I don't have it right now, how can I look like I do? Or how can I feel like I have the confidence,
Yes.
and not, you're not thinking about long-term, like, is this a good investment?
No.
It was not.
I'm going to pay it off.
Yeah. With what?
Eventually, I'm going to get some money from somewhere. Like, even like with financial aid, because sometimes you get money back. Yep. So I was like, when I get that money back, I'll be good. No, don't
painful
do
memories.
It.
Don't do it. Painful memories.
Don't
okay,
do
all right.
it.
So you used the word insecure before too, like that you were feeling insecure. So how did that play into like how you originally approached like fashion and when you were buying things? That
it was the cover up. So I use like fashion really, to make it look like I had it all together, even though inside I could be sitting right here in front of you and having a full on panic attack inside and just be like, hey.
You were that good at it.
Yeah, I would just like, and kind of like, I'll be doing things with my hands. Nobody paid attention, but like I would be doing things with my hands to kind of like let the anxiety pass through me.
Wow.
But not showing people that I was spiraling, but it looked like I had it all together. Yeah. I was fine. Like,
sure you're dressed cute.
Yeah, like I'm okay, guys. Like, and I think also the play on like being made fun of as a kid or like, this doesn't match. Like, that's why I went to the jobs at the mall. Like, I didn't work at fast food because I didn't have a problem with food at home. Yeah. Like I had a problem with the way I looked and dressed. And so like that was covering up the real issue of my insecurity. Like for years I couldn't pass a mirror and think that I was pretty. Even though I would hear people, oh, you're so pretty. I'm like, whatever. Really? Like, yeah.
And
like,
for anyone who's not watching, she's stunning. So
there's
that.
But, so are you.
Oh, thank you. This is a great episode.
Yes.
No, but like, tell me, I'm actually really curious, like how the fashion and then also like your appearance, like that kind of insecurity, because that doesn't always come together. Like, why do you think that both of those things were factors for you?
I think for me, like from the fashion standpoint, it was like being made. I'm also the youngest of like on my mom's side, 3 girls. On my dad's side, there's 6 of us.
Okay.
So like, you know, it's just like trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And so if I'm working at a hedge fund and they're dressing nice and they have the money, and like, I don't want to look like the only, you know, black girl that ain't got to, like, let me figure out how I can fit into this space. Or they fake it till you make it, you know? And it's like, well, y'all.
It's a very dangerous,
you know,
it's a slippery slope.
I'm still trying to make it, you know? Like, it's
slippery slope.
I'm trying to still make it, you know? And so I think just looking at those 2 things, it's like, I don't recall the moment that I really got insecure. Maybe when I started dating, where it was like, you know, I got cheated on young, or even in high school, I asked someone to prom in patois, because at the time, like, my grandfather was still alive. He said something in patois, and I brought it to my grandfather, and the translation was, I look like a bird. And so there was like, and he was one of the cutest guys in school, like, and I had the confidence to go ask. So like, it was moments like that, or like my friends getting numbers from guys, and like no one's approaching me at the mall. And so I'm like, there's something wrong with me. Like, I'm goofy, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I started telling myself these stories and letting that be what settled in my mind. Like, and as we know, like, you start taking the memory and like, you put these emotional like things together, and it's an emotional memory that is always played out. And it wasn't until, honestly, like, I started really working in therapy and then getting hypnotherapy to reprogram my thoughts, that all of that, like, I'm still working through it, but most of it, like, I can look at a mirror now, I can say, oh, you are pretty. You know, like, it was hard for me to do that for a lot of years.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because it requires you to like think about some painful memories, and then to decide to look at them differently. Like, that's their problem. Like, it's not mine. That's not who I am because someone said something mean to me. But you're right. Like, those things all shape us so much, and we are taking actions and having the self-talk and not even knowing why we're doing that day to day until we stop and like, oh, because of this, this, and this, I had these beliefs. They're not true. Yeah. And so now what is real? What am I going to replace those false beliefs with? Yeah. It's a lot of work.
It was a journey. You know, it's still a journey. You know, like, my therapist that I was working with for almost over 14 years, like, she's like, from the anxiety to panic to all the breakups that she's like now retiring. And I'm like,
you're like, no, you're not.
Like, we had our last call a couple weeks ago. I was like,
oh, wow. Wait, how are you doing?
You know, that's a good question. Like, I've tried to explore another therapist that she referred me to. And she's from New York, you know, like, and she knew her stuff, like the woman, my therapist. And I was like, she ain't got it like you. I don't know if I can do this. So like, now I'm still on the hunt for obviously a therapist, but like, I just know, I told her, I was like, I know I have tools in my toolbox because of the years we worked together. So like, it's not that I'm spiraling. I just feel that therapy, whether you feel like you're in a good place, like, some people like, well, a therapist's goal is to make sure that you don't have to see them. I'm like, no. You don't ever know. Like, having that person on your team is like having your doctor that you go see annually, right? Like, you need a team of people that are like your health team, right? Your wellness team. And that's how I look at therapy.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I do think, like, you know, you don't want people to be reliant on you, but you're not saying that. You're saying, you know, as a therapist, you don't want people to rely on you. You're saying you have this toolbox and you're not going to wait until things are bad, which I think is the idea, is like, you don't have to wait until you're in a crisis. Because then it's really hard to summon up all of like the courage and the time, you know, to spend your energy that way, right? And so I think that that's a really important way of looking at it. And
like, having my speed dial, like, just in case, you know, like, hey, do you have an appointment this month? Like, it's not now our meetings with my therapist. It wasn't like, before it was every like weekly anymore. Or if there's a moment that I'm experiencing, yes, we're meeting weekly. But outside of that, it's like, okay, let's just do a check-in. How are you feeling? Like, every 2 months, you just have that person in your toolbox. That's important.
No, I agree. I think it's such a good way of looking at it. And I'm wondering too, you know, for you doing this work, you're seeing for yourself the emotional connection in your life, and then in your, literally what's in your closet. Yeah. And then managing other people's stuff, right? So when you first started going into, because it's also such like a private space, you know? And so tell me about like maybe the first time, or like one of the memorable times that you started doing this work.
Oh gosh. I love what I do, because again, I love communicating with people. I love the fact that you trusted me to come into this personal space, which means I know that you're serious about what you want to do. And normally they hire me for just organization, but then when we do the edit is where the conversation really starts. And I start to see myself in them. Like, so my years of therapy.
Yeah, tell me about that.
You know,
so,
like,
because when you say organization, I'm also thinking, okay, like, yeah, you're going through, you're pulling things out, but I can also imagine that going through and pulling things out, people are like maybe like some resistance, like, no, that's really important. You're like, okay, when was the last time you wore it?
Yes.
You know, like, what does this mean to you? So tell me.
It's like you're kind of like rubbing up against the parts of them that's like, because the first thing that everyone says, anytime that I walk into a closet, it's like, don't judge me. And I'm like,
oh my gosh, that's what I was saying.
I'm like, please, somebody pay me for every time I hear a don't judge me. I will be so wealthy. And I'm like, that is not this. We're probably going to laugh because I'm going to definitely put like, why, what is this?
Yes.
Like, explain, give me the story, the backdrop. Why do you have this? And so I think that's what it is. It's like we start pulling up. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, you can pull all these jackets, but then of course, we hide stuff behind the stuff. And then I'm like, what's this box?
Yes.
I'm not one of those TV organizers that's like, oh, we're going to put stuff in a, container and slide it to the side, or we're just going to switch out the hangers. I go through if it's in there, we're opening it.
Wow.
What is this? Because again, I'm just hiding clutter for you. Not doing that.
Oh my gosh.
Open this up. If there's something in there you don't want me to see, I'll turn my back. But if not, like, let's go through it. And so I started to see myself a lot, like in my clients. One of them in particular, like when she was dealing with grief, she lost her sister. I lost my sister. Yes. She had just lost her mom. I lost my mom. And so it's like being able to relate to people and just let them know, like, this is what I did, if this can help you, So we had come across, and this was even her mom's stuff. We came across a friend that passed away. It was a clock. And she had the clock. And I'm like, why is this clock in here?
Yeah.
Like, explain to me.
Yes.
And she's like, well, like, this is the last thing was from our house. I'm like, oh, did she make the clock? Like, I'm like,
playing dumb.
I'm like asking like, oh, she made the clock? She's like, no, she did make the clock. I'm like, oh, she really loved the clock. No. I'm like, did she really value the clock? So I'm asking these questions, and it's like, no. I'm like, so why are you holding on to it? Because you think you're holding on to a piece of her. And then that's what I'm like, all right, where are you? Are you ready to get rid of this? Like, I don't know. I'm like, if I tell you something that will help you, will you be willing to maybe let it go? And she's like, well, what is it? I'm like, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's false. If you took a picture of this clock and you wanted to go back and remember your friend, you could look at this clock and you'll still get those same emotions. Like, because your brain has already made an attachment.
Yes.
It already has made the recognition of like, okay, this is this person. Like, you could just have a picture of it versus it taking up space that we need for your shoes, because why is this in there?
That's so smart. And also, like, I'm feeling a little bit not attacked, targeted. My closet is broken like multiple times, and I finally just had to get it like completely redone and like reinforced. I mean, I like clothes. I like to buy clothes. I like to wear different. Yes. Anyway, this is not about me.
It's not about me.
But I mean, I can relate to that, because I will say from my own experience, a lot of times stuff is behind other things and I've forgotten that I even have it. I was looking for something the other day and I was like, why do I have 3 of these? They're exactly the same. I just didn't see them, so I didn't realize it. And you're buying the same thing. I'm like, I guess I really like that, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
When you're really thinking about it and you take the time to be like, why?
Yeah.
Why not just spend the time to actually go through everything and be able to see what I have? So I really appreciate what you said about not just putting stuff in boxes for you to forget about it again, to actually look up at everything and think about what is the value.
And then you can see it.
Yes. And if it's not value or like sentimental the way that I thought it was, is it about holding on to this memory of this person? How do I do that in another way? So I love that advice. I think that's really brilliant.
Like, how do we still honor them?
Yes.
Like, even like sometimes when we talk about grief, like for my mom, like, my mom was very creative. She didn't finish interior design school, but she went to school for interior design. And so like she would do floors over in the house. Like, my mom was like,
wow.
She was, as a single parent, of course, we know our dad. So I don't want to think like it was like, oh, I didn't know who my father was. But like, she would do stuff in the house where we'd be like, you don't need a man. Like, figure it out. Like, just do it, And so that's also like probably good and bad. Like, you don't need a man. That's a whole nother story for another time. But like, just seeing even like my mom, like, be willing to, let me put this together, like, let me like take this apart, So like, I feel,
it's like almost empowering to see that,
like, I think it's empowering, and also like, I can do anything, which is also not a good thing.
Okay, hold on. Let's unpack that for a second, before we move on. Yes. And yes, it is. It is great to see someone who's independent and like not just independent, like also being creative and showing you that, especially like the career that you have gone into, to see that. And what's the like part for you that is like the that doesn't, I don't know if that was the right lesson that I wanted to absorb. Like, let's talk about that.
Because when you say I don't need, so because my mom was a single woman, mom, you don't need a man for anything. You end up going into the world. I don't need a man to do. Like, I have asked people to do stuff for me, like trying to be girly.
You're like, I can do it.
Like, can you do this? And if it takes too long, I'm already done. I've already done it. Like, I literally asked a friend before to help me move my mattress, like when I was moving. And it took maybe a couple hours.
Yeah.
By the time they got there, the mattress moved. I was like, I already did it. Like, I figured it out. I will sweat until that is the part that's like, I can do anything. And also, you don't need a man to do it.
It's so tricky, Shaniece, though, because I don't hate it, but I can see how it could also be a bit of a roadblock in some areas where it's like, okay, where do I allow other people to do things for me? And like, what happens if I insist on doing everything myself, you know? And so I think it is. I
struggle with that.
Yeah. Because you know you're capable.
Yeah. And even also like in business, but I don't ask either. So like asking for help is also like a problem that I'm still, now I got to find a therapist, but I need to work through that. But that is a part of me that is, because, you know, like sometimes I don't want to ask friends, even though they are friends, it's like, I don't want you to think that I'm your friend because of who you are or what you have. So like, I would rather not ask and try to figure it out myself.
Yes.
And there's times where my friend will be like, you're my friend. I know your heart. Like, why would I think that you're here trying to pull something from me? But I've seen it done to them.
Sure.
So I don't want to be another person added to that list.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell me if I'm way off base, but I was just thinking about what you were saying earlier about when you were not able to put on like that kind of public persona, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to retreat into my house. Like, I don't want to go out or not do anything. Was that because you were feeling like people needed you to show up a certain way? Like, I'm seeing you, I mean, obviously I've known you for a long time, but like I'm seeing like a very bubbly, like very like vivacious, like energetic person. And I'm wondering if you felt like that's like people needed me to show up a certain way, or I'm going to stay home.
No, more so the staying home. Well, during the time of anxiety and panic, it was like, I just don't want to leave the house because I don't want to have another panic attack. I felt safe in my home.
Okay.
Other times, like now, like once I'm out and I'm like, this is my personality. Like I got, you know, all my report cards, if I ever shown them, because I still have them. My mom kept them. It's like, wonderful student, talks too much. Like I'm very
Me too.
like,
every single one, they're like, she's doing great. I'm like, but if I have straight A's, then what's the problem? I want to talk to my friends.
I finished my work early. Like people need to get up, hurry up.
We have the same lives.
Yeah. So like literally, it's like I'm very bubbly, but then I know like, oh, like okay, I just need a moment to myself for like a day. Like let me. I literally just did that the day before yesterday, and I'm just like, I literally just need to not talk to nobody and just like I went to a coffee shop, had my coffee on my computer doing my work there, like my desk work. And I'm just like, I don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah.
And then I can go back out into the world. Like normally I speak to everyone, like be the janitor cleaning down the street. I'm like, hi, how are you? Like, you know, everybody deserves to, you never know who you can make someone's day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think there is importance in also understanding when you like need a minute too, and being able to take that like and not labeling it as like selfish or anything like that. Like, okay, this is what I need some rebalancing.
Yes.
Because I also have to imagine, you know, going back to thinking about when you go into other people's space, how much energy that you take on of other people, right? And if it's, I'm sure, very emotional sometimes, maybe, you know, sometimes people, like things come up for them that they're probably not expecting in those encounters. How do you deal with that? And well, with them, and then how do you deal with it for you?
With them, I think because I feel, and I've always felt like I had to be strong. Even when my sister passed and my mom was like, sad, I'm like, I can't cry. Like, you know, I got to be strong. Like, let me just show up
strong
for them.
for her? Or,
yeah, strong for her. So like for me, it was more of like, in that space, I think I carry that over when I'm working with people where it's like, okay,
we can't both be breaking down.
Yeah, and I already have a problem showing emotion, so I'm not going to cry. So when people cry, we're like, oh, like I'm like, oh.
Okay, can I challenge you on something? Because that's the second time you said I have trouble showing emotion, but you don't have. Okay, this encounter.
Yes.
I don't see that you have trouble showing emotion. There might be trouble showing like the difficult emotions.
Yes.
Maybe because I'm like, you are very emotive, you know? And so I think, you know, I wouldn't want to put you in that box of saying like,
Dr. Patrice challenged me. Reframe my thoughts.
Challenged with love, yes.
I love it. I need that. Okay. I'm going to take that, put it in my pocket.
I'm like, that's the second time. And I'm you know, I just want to notice that.
Thank you. Now I'm going to put that in my pocket because that's a good point.
Oh.
Okay.
okay. Yes. Okay. Tell me.
Yeah, so like with them, it's like I'm showing up for you and then I'm here to create the space where you can have this emotion. Because normally, that's why I say like, even with the closet, I'm like, it's the most overlooked space in our home.
Yes.
But it's the most transformational because it's like, normally we shove stuff in there or we go there to be safe or we go there to hide or we go like, that's where our true version, the true version, I believe, of ourselves are there.
So interesting.
Like the mirror. You sit and you're looking at yourself when no one else is in the closet with you, you know, whether it's a reach in or walk in. It could be the mirror in your room. But like, I feel like that's the space. And so I allow them to have that space. And there's sometimes when I like leave like a closet and I'm just like, man, like, how else can I help them? Like, what can I do?
Really?
Like, I'm thinking that stuff more than I'm thinking like, oh, that was so draining. Cause now I'm like, but again, this is where sometimes the coda comes in. Cause I'm like, I overdo it sometimes. I'm like, oh, like we'll do the bottom of your bathroom underneath your sink, and I'll do that, and then I'll be doing it for free.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I like for mine because I'm like, oh, they went through this, and like I just want to help.
Which is a beautiful sentiment and a beautiful idea, and like, how do you make sure that you are helping while balancing that with taking care of yourself because it's a business.
Yeah, I know.
It's not volunteer work.
I know that part.
And it also sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah,
so you definitely don't want to do that.
And because I love it, to me, it doesn't feel like work. So it is. It really is. And so like I have to challenge myself to like, shut up. That's what I have to tell myself. Like, don't you say nothing. Just like, oh, okay, like, oh, maybe you should like think about this. Like think about this from this way. And maybe if you do this part, like I can come back. Like, you know.
Yes.
Doing
and this is how much I charge for that.
Exactly.
All of those things. You can help.
Yes.
Like for a cost.
Yes, exactly. So I do enjoy holding space for people because I feel like growing up being the youngest, sometimes you don't have that.
Yes. Yes, that's so true. You know, there's not the opportunities all the time or like the luxury to be like, oh, this is how I feel. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, absolutely. Okay. And so that's what you're able to do in the moment with your clients. And then how do you then take care of yourself? You mentioned, you know, I need a day and I'm not going to talk to anyone today. Like what else, how do you know when you need to step back or think about what you need? And then what do you do like in that space?
I feel like for me, I feel the spiral happening. Like, and also, believe it or not, as a closet organizer, my closet starts getting out of whack. Like I'll have like shoes sitting like by the door when I come in, which I normally don't wear shoes in my house. So if they get too many, that stuff starts piling up. Like if things start piling up, I start paying attention to visual cues. So like that's my thing. Like, oh no. Something's off here, like what's going on? And then I start feeling like a little tight anxiety for me. And I'm like, okay, I just need to stop everything. I'm doing too much. Like, let me step back. I'll go get a massage or I'll go for a run. Like running has become like my way of like kind of decompressing. And so I do something for myself, even if I'm like, okay, even if it's just 2-3 hours, like I just need that for me.
Yes.
The feelings, the cues, all of the things I'm just like, I know because of so many years, I'm like, this is a sign of something.
Yes.
So like, what is it? I love journaling. So like, I'll sit on my patio, I'll journal. Like those are some things that I do to take care of myself.
I like that because I think sometimes we can think of, you know, our mental health journey as like the goal is to not have those feelings. It's like, no, you're living life. They will come up. It's like, what do you do when that happens? Not if it happens, but like, what do you have like, again, in your toolbox already? You know, what are new things that you might want to bring in? You're bringing in running now, you know, and like that wasn't something that necessarily maybe you would have turned to before, but being able to see those cues and instead of just being like, forget it, there's nothing that can be done here. Just have to like wait for it to end. Yeah. Like, no, I actually can do all these things,
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm going to have some hard feelings. Like, you know, both of those things are going to be existing at the same time.
And that's where I can actually cry. There's mornings like I get up and I'm like, I'm praying. And I was like, you know what? I just need to cry. So I'm going to let it come out. Like, it's like I give myself permission just to like cry, or I'll go by on the PCH, like by the beach. And I'm like, I'll look to make sure ain't no cars like around, but I'll just scream out into the abyss of the ocean. Like, I'm just like,
I love that. Which what people want to do and they just actually don't do.
I'm like, I hope nobody's over here. But I just got to scream real quick and then I'll go get in my car. But yeah.
Do you think that will change, that someday like you won't feel like you have to give yourself permission? Like it'll just happen when I'm not saying that's the goal. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I wonder. I hope it could be just natural, you know, like, or, you know, like sometimes even when my friends, like they'll cry over things like a movie or something, I'll be like, so hopefully.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like you need to become them or anything. I was just interested in like the way that you said that.
Yeah.
As far as like
giving myself permission. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you grow up, one as the youngest, it's like, you know, or like in a single, like with my mom being a single mom, like there wasn't really much space like that to actually like feel. Like of even after my sister passed, like I always tell this story. And in hindsight, I'm so grateful she did that. But I think I was spiraling into a depression. And so I was sitting on the couch and I literally can see my mother walking down the stairs now. And she stopped on the stairs like halfway before she made it all the way down. And she looked at me and I looked at her and she said, "You better get up." And I said, "I just lost my sister." And she said, "And I just lost my daughter. She was on her way to work." And so it was like the moment of like a shift out of it. But I think that was the skinniest I had ever been. Yeah. I was like, I think she started to see me like go spiral out of, and she was like, it was the snap out of it I think I needed.
Yes.
But in the moment that joint felt, I was like, how dare she? This is crazy. Like, this woman crazy. You know, like, but in hindsight, I'm like, oh, like there are moments where you just got to get up.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. And like, that's when I was like, therapy. Cool.
Yes.
If I got to get up, I'm going to therapy.
Right. Okay. And I think that's the other important piece, that like, you know, that therapy or whatever it is that allows you to, yes, get up and also deal with, because it's not that you can just be like, I'm fine. Like you just lost, like, no, you're not fine.
Yeah.
You're not fine. And your mom was probably right that you do need to get up, right? Because how long can you like stay, like before that becomes your way of being? And there's not one right answer. You know, everyone's so different. And, you know, in a way it's like a gift for your mom to be like, get up, and you see her getting up. And then it's like, what's the other part? Like, how do I deal with these very like real emotions, like with all of this grief, you know, in a way, like so that it doesn't overtake me, but that I acknowledge it and like validate it, right? Yeah. And I think that's just like a struggle so many of us have. You know?
Was
because a lot of us are good at getting up, and then it's like, no.
Now what? Okay, I'm up.
I'm up. I'm up, or I'm going through the motions.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and like that's not sustainable, you know?
At all.
Yes.
At all.
So I think it's that second part that everyone's like starting to learn now, or realizing, like looking back on like their family relationships, like, oh, that person never dealt with any of that stuff, you know?
Like, I understand why they like that now, you know? Like you said.
I mean, it definitely gives you, you know, like some empathy for people, you know, for sure. Okay, so I want to talk to you about, you know, in terms of your business, like what you've been creating, and then also Social Brunch Club, like something else that you've been working on. So tell me about that.
So with the Social Brunch Club, it's the Substack newsletter. So it's a free newsletter. I used to have like just a regular newsletter where I'll send stuff out weekly. But I was just like, you know, what happens? Like I look at I have a group that I call my sister circle here. Like they've been my friends, like when I first came to LA. And we're all at different stages. One just had a baby. The other one just got married. One's been married for a while. So like, I think about the amount of times that we go to that brunch and the conversations that come up are the conversations that we normally have by ourselves in the closet.
Yes.
And so the Social Brunch Club for me was like, okay, how do I bring these conversations from the closet to the brunch table? And like actually have people start confronting those skeletons that we keep shoving in the back. Because I realized for me, like, that was the way that I was able to get over the anxiety, the panic attacks, the grief of my sister. Like, you know, and grief comes in waves. So it's not like I got over it and I don't think about it. But like, it allows me to, again, I'm going to say permission to have those, to have those like conversations with other people, because we're so used to hiding, or at least I was perfect. The one, the camouflage, like, I'm fine.
Yeah,
like,
everything's great, you know, and then people are probably not going to dig deeper because it looks great.
Yeah.
You know?
And I didn't want people to dig deeper either. Like, don't ask me. Like, I don't feel like talking, you know? And so I think for me, it was just like, I think in vulnerability, there was a friend that she wrote this quote and it said, vulnerability creates space for transformation. And so like, for me, that stuck with me because I'm like, okay, if you're able to be vulnerable, you actually can change. Like you can put it on the table. This is what I'm dealing with. Maybe someone has a resource at that table. You know, like there's been plenty of times my friends, we've like guys, like I call it SOS. I'm like, hey man, things getting tricky over here in this business. And my friends are some of our entrepreneurs that are doing really well. And they'll be like, all right, let's all hop on the call. Like, what is it that you need? Like, how do we need to like strategize? And I think people don't have that. And I think that's the community that I had the opportunity and the privilege. A layoff happens, our network, somebody in there, oh, I know somebody that's looking for someone. I got you. Like, that meant something to me. I was like, more people should have access to this. And like, I put it in I kind of designed it like when I launched it as a way of like a social club, like a country club, you know, like, but without the high fees or without people talking about this person. Like, you know, it's more of like, hey, you have access to this. Like, let's get in here. Let's have the conversations, journal prompts, because journaling has helped me through so much, like just getting the thoughts out of my head. So like, that's what I really have in the Substack is like, all right, like I made like how you were in our, you know, Substack. Like, how do we have this conversation and like really put that in front of people? How do we like start journaling about it? And if you're brunching by yourself or you're sitting with friends, like bring up this conversation. Even if you haven't dealt with it, ask yourself, like, do I know someone? Like, and I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. Like, stop having these private conversations.
Yes. I like that it makes me like tie or connect to what you were saying earlier in school, like being like your circle of friends who like challenged you and like it was competitive, but like in a good, healthy way, right? And then like bridging that with the community that you've created here with your friends. And then also, how do you get that to people who may not have that kind of community, who may not have that kind of social support? I just think it's like such a beautiful like through line, you know, that you've created.
You. I didn't even think about that, but yes.
Yeah, it's really
amazing.
I
love bringing new people. Like, I'm someone who's not a gatekeeper. And so like, even when I meet new people, I'm like, oh, this person can probably meet this person. Like, you know, I'm very much like that. Because I'm just like, we're all people. And of course, some people have more money, some people, you know, like, but it's at the end of the day, like, we're human beings. We all bleed the same, you know? And like, that's something that my parents taught me growing up. Like, I didn't care about like, oh, if you are Indian, if you're this. And I went to a very multicultural school. So like, I was always taught to like, it doesn't matter like what people look like. They're still human, you know? And so that's something I always carry with me.
Yeah. What a beautiful gift. It's been wonderful talking to you. If people want to hear more about what you're working on, your business, Social Brunch Club, where can they find you?
They can find me on the People's Internet on Instagram at Shaniece M. Jones. And then just my website is ShanieceJones.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. For more on what I'm doing, you can follow me on TikTok or Instagram at Dr. Patrice Le Goy. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe, and also would love to hear feedback or ideas for future shows. Thank you for listening.